City building games really have come a long way since 1969's The Sumo game. Kingdoms and Castles are available on Steam, and a review key was kindly provided to us by Lion Shield. The game was played on a MacBook Pro starting from game version 105 through 109B13. Kingdoms and Castles follow in a long line of city building and resource management games, mixing in a bit of tower defense in a setting with raging vikings, ogres, and dragons that fall out of the sky randomly. The game's been out in early access for a while, and it may seem a bit late to review it now. I've held back on doing this for a reason, but first, what is the game? As the name kinda gives away, the setting is medieval, like you're building your own little rent fair, but with plague and hostile invasions. You get to build living quarters, farms, markets, etc., balancing the need for food and entertainment with defenses against recurring attacks. Early on, you're focusing on the bare minimum, a few hovels, a couple of farms, and of course building materials. But soon enough it's about infrastructure, optimizing living areas around bakeries and taverns, and having stone roads to help you get food around. Bakeries help you increase food availability and markets bring in food and charcoal from afar, while taverns consume food and provide happiness. Naturally, food can spoil, so granaries are critical to ensuring your people don't starve, but put them in the wrong place and the plebs end up having to walk too far for those odd little yellow blocks. At semi-regular intervals, your growing city gets attacked by vikings or dragons, or both. Vikings plunder, dragons burn down stuff, and both can be killed with a sufficient number of arrows. Build towers as tall as you can, and with a little archer's tower on top, and they'll gladly shoot at any enemy as long as you've got gold. You don't even have to supply them with arrows. The taller the tower, the better the range, and the more hits it can take. And a ballista tower around 30 stories tall can cover a city, though it shouldn't do so alone. An odd observation at this point is that ogres, who bash down walls, seem to be linked to the size of your fortifications, and simply not having interconnected walls look like a strategic approach to avoiding them. So that's the basics of the game, and you might be wondering when I'll get to the topic of why it wasn't reviewed immediately. Simply put, because despite the existing content, it feels incomplete currently. Yes, since the release there's been the addition of stone roads for faster travel, water wheels and aqueducts to help with farming, and most recently there's the Merchants and Ports update, bringing in ships and building cities on multiple islands on a much larger map. All of this does bring longevity to a game, adding challenges and next step for your city, but it still feels like it's not a real endgame, or whatever the equivalent to endgame is in a perpetual, infinite resource management game. The developers have also been improving the UI and adding quality of life changes. One change I've particularly been looking for was the ability to prioritize tasks, which has been added in the latest builds, though UI UX wise it still feels a bit naive but functional. There's the challenges of building an ever bigger city, unlocking Steam achievements as you go, but no random challenges beyond just raiding vikings and dragons. Nothing that necessitates changing logistics, altering the layout of your city, or redirecting resources towards one-time projects. Another wild idea, and yes, you're welcome to scream, but SimCity could be partial online availability to let your merchants trade with people on your Steam's friends list, or perhaps even introduce the option to send your own people pillaging your friends. Suddenly you're investing resources in specific events, i.e. going Viking, instead of just semi-persistent infrastructure and a few good defenders. It would be a risky adventure, and rewards definitely should depend on the level of their city and not just your luck. But the game needs something beyond this whole more of what you've been doing for the last 5 hours. There's also parts of the base game that feels incomplete. Your defending army, for example, cannot be given orders to patrol an area or engage an enemy. Instead, you have to locate the general, direct him to near where the enemy is, and then micromanage him to stay near the hostiles. Then there's the castle, which seems like it should have functionality and options, but doesn't really do much. Gates claim to keep the enemies out, but I've yet to see that happen, and you can literally build towers so tall they'll kill dragons before the dragon is even visible in-game. Okay, I've been ragging a bit on the game and perhaps been a bit too negative. There's a really good, balanced game here with its own raison d'etre. It's cute, the graphics are clean with rotating seasons, little brick people, the mechanics largely work well, and there's not much to frustrate you outside of the speed of these games and getting your army to where you want it. Oh, and the odd dialogues from your advisors that keep repeating themselves and require you to look at your castle to even notice. Music and sound are, well, there. They're not the things that stand out the most, and more varied music could likely help it score better in this area, but they are clean and functional, which I do mean in a good way. The people at Lion Shield really have done a good job, and continue to do a good job as they add content. It hits that one more thing kind of feeling that is the true hallmark of this sort of game. That point where you think you could optimize some small thing a bit more and end up redesigning a quarter of your city. If you're into city builders, resource management, or simply tower defense games, the game's price of $9.99 at the time of writing is absolutely worth it, as you're almost bound to get several hours of entertainment out of it as is, and only more so as the developers continue to add to it. Though note, you can also find it in FIG bundles featuring games that were crowdsourced on the FIG platform. Right now it's in one alongside the excellent track list that Draconis looked at last year and Solstice Chronicles, the developers of which we interviewed in episode 61 of the Rated R show. I've gone ahead and scored it a 7 on design, 7 on challenge, 7 on fun and 7 on replay, i.e. above average, as well as 8 on price, for an overall rating of 7.2 out of 10. This game is growing. If you like this review, by all means hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, subscribe. There will be more reviews, so hey, stay around to check it out.